Best albums I discovered in 2024. Yes, every single December we do one of these videos where I highlight the best discoveries of the year, the most fantastic albums I discovered in the year of 2024. The distinction to remember though is that we're looking at albums that I found this year but weren't from this year, because we're looking at albums that could be from any year that I've listened to throughout the course of 2024 that I think are bloody fantastic. Fandabby-dozy, some might say. So yes, that's what we're going to be doing for this video. Don't forget that this is a separate video to the albums that you discovered, which I post on social media. I post on the community section on YouTube as well, where I asked you guys to give me albums from this year. Yeah, remember that you think have gone underrated, overlooked, that kind of thing, and then I do a video for that. So that's coming at some point as well. This is albums I've discovered from any year that isn't 2024 that I think have been pretty fantastic. So pretty undiscovered gems in this one as well. So I'm quite excited to get through these albums, because some of these are pretty niche, or maybe not as talked about as maybe as much as other albums. So yeah, we've got some really exciting recommendations to get through today. And as always, check out my Patreon if you're feeling really generous, if you want to support videos like this continuing on the channel, because we've got plenty of exciting year-end list type content like this coming throughout the course of this month. We've already done a few on the channel already, disappointing albums, a couple of others as well. So yeah, we're getting right into the end of the year now, and yeah, we're going with this one. So let me know your thoughts on these albums and hopefully enjoy the video. I was familiar with Sparks. I am obviously aware of how iconic they are as a band, so it's not like this is me discovering Sparks in 2024. It is just, in fact, me discovering this album in 2024. I have enjoyed some of their stuff before, been aware of some of their more iconic, recognizable tracks, but I hadn't heard this album, and I've got to say, this is the one that won me over, because I liked what Sparks were doing. Obviously, I've always thought they were good, but this was the one that was like, oh, okay, yeah, definitely get why Sparks are so iconic and beloved amongst the music nerds, even so many years after they've put out their music, of course. But even though I think they're still going, actually, I think they've still been dropping music sporadically over the years. But yeah, this is so good. So, like, circus-like, with some of the weird and off-kilter instrumentals that are just like batshit and wacky. The vocals are really odd and quirky as well. So many great moments on this one. This town ain't big enough for the both of us. That's a great track as well. Yeah, so many fun gems here. They've kind of got like a synth pop like fusion with like some quirky elements that come through. It's kind of like a bit of like Kate Bush before Kate Bush really like took her sound to the heights that she did. It's kind of got those isms in place, and it's pretty impressive to see that they had been kicking around quite a few years before somebody like Kate Bush had even started making music. So yeah, very cool band. I'm sure you're aware of them, but I just wanted to highlight this one because it is one I've only really gotten into this year, but it has been a really enjoyable album for me that I've gone back to quite a bit. That's probably the most recognizable album on this list out the way, and don't forget, this isn't any particular order, it's just albums I've discovered. There's no ranking here, there's no point really ranking it, I suppose. But yeah, the next one I do want to mention though is Tokyo Shoegazer, which is definitely one of the best experiences I've had with shoegaze, not only this year, but honestly maybe on the whole with the genre, because I do think it's obviously a very good genre with some iconic and exciting and some breathtaking albums. But this is like something I wish I'd discovered way sooner, because this is like right up there with the very best that this genre has to offer. Like seriously, so good, so atmospheric. The vocals bellow and echo. It just feels like kind of like Cocteau Twins in some places reimagined for a more modern sound. It's really spellbinding at times. The track Bright, man, the track Bright is just outrageous. Like, you shouldn't be making songs this good. This is ridiculous. It's like 8 minutes. It's kaleidoscopic. It's just so huge in its scope. It's sensational song. I've been blown away by that one this year. And yeah, this has been a really exciting album for me. Crystalline, definitely up there with the very best of shoegaze. So if you've never heard this one and you're a lover of shoegaze, trust me on it, it's really bloody good. We've got the joint album from Hiromi, Hosono, Shigeru, Suzuki and Tatsuo Yamashita. Apologies if all of those names were completely botched. I do apologize if they were. But yeah, Pacific, I'm sure if you're familiar with this kind of style of like city pop music, you're very much aware of these names, and this album coming together is pretty much considered like a classic, but again, an album I hadn't discovered until this year. Obviously that's part of the video, but yeah, I'm always a big fan of city pop. I think it's one of those genres that's like really hard to do wrong. Like, it's so unlikely for me to hear a city pop album and give it less than like a 6 out of 10. Like, seriously, just one of those genres that just cannot fail. Like, almost every album I've heard within this scope of the city pop. And so much of it is hard to listen to because it's not on, like, streaming, and they don't, like release it on anywhere on the internet. It's really hard to find. But the ones I have heard are just ridiculously high quality. And this one kind of combines some elements of that with, like, more of, like, an easy listening, very nice, like, smooth ambient sort of really wavy, vibey sound. It's really lovely. It's a really, really great album that combines a few elements together, of course, with the different names coming through. They've all got their different ideas, of course, as well. It just makes for a really lovely listen. At times it's quite pedestrian, and I don't want to say that in a negative way, because sometimes calling something pedestrian is like quite negative, but I mean just in the way that it just like moves by so casually, it just moves by so like nonchalantly, but it's done so well that I just have a really nice time listening to it. So yeah, a great one here. Todd Edwards, one of the masters of electronic music, coming through here. This album, I was aware of Todd, but I wasn't really aware of like his solo work ever being considered like iconic or classic, but for some reason it just went over my head. And this year, yeah, well, what a treat. Like, what a treat. Just what an absolute treat. Like, seriously, some of the most exciting sort of dance techno music you're going to ever hear, really. It's just so balls to the wall, like fist pumping, anthemic bangers from start to end. It's just so good. I don't know why it took me this long to discover Todd Edwards, really. But yeah, like I say, a name that I was familiar with, but for some reason had never just checked out anything he'd ever done. What a great album. Masayoshi Takanaka, one of the best artists in the world of pop music ever. And yet, in the Western world, saying that as a sentence would just get you with weird eyes being like, who dat? Who? But seriously, so good. And I was aware of some of his work before. Again, similar to Sparks, where it was like, I liked it. But this album, man, oh my days. Some of the guitar work is just outrageous. Like, seriously, just bring back pop and guitars combining in this kind of way, because it just sounds so blissful and beautiful, and the arrangements are just stunning. Vocals are so charming, so boyish, so likable. The second track is one that I just find so addictive. I just think that melody is ridiculously good. Just incredible music, man. Like, just music just warms the soul. It just has such a really vibrant, beautiful, sunny sound to it. I just can't get enough of it. Incredible stuff. Byrd. This, out of all of the albums here, might be the best one. I know I said I wasn't ranking them, but I do tend to say in these videos which one I think is my favourite. And Donald friggin' Byrd, man. Oh my days. Wow. This really cool, funky jazz soul fusion with some like crazy, exciting disco elements. Everything about this album just appeals to me so massively. It's like the one album in my life that was never there, and listening to it, it just was like, this is what I've needed all along. It's all of the things I like in one album. Donald freaking Byrd. Oh my god, this album is ridiculously good. Falling Like Dominoes. saying it right now, one of the best songs of all time. I only heard it this year, and I don't care, and I'm okay with saying it, and I think even in 5 years' time, I will still have that opinion, because that song, man, hold me tight, and don't let go, hold me loose, baby, no, 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 oh, so good, incredible music, absolutely sensational, I can't get enough of it, man, seriously, soul, funk, jazz, combining to make the most likable album you could ever friggin' imagine. So good, amazing. Seems to be a theme of non-English speakers making a bulk of this video this year. It's not intentional, it just so happens to be that some of the best music I've found this year is non-English speaking. This album actually is very much ingrained in like classic sort of synth pop new wave sounds. It just so happens to be from Argentina instead. It's Charly García with Parte de Religión. Another common theme in this video is that track 2 is the best track on the album. Yeah, same here. And I also don't want to say track 2 again because I keep getting worried that I'm going to botch the title names because they're not in English. But yeah, great track this one, very much like classic Peter Gabriel, really. Like if you're a big fan of anything from the 80s that very much is classic in that new wave synth pop sound, I don't see why you wouldn't like this track. I think it's a great album. I think it's very much really capturing a nice essence and the sound is done really well. Yeah, Charly García, a bit of an undiscovered gem, I would say, but he's really great. When I started this video with a more recognizable name, I may as well end it with a more recognizable name because we're going to finish off with the Mars Volta, who is another artist I have been aware of. I've tried a few of their works in the past, but this was actually the first time I tried this one out. And I've got to say, guys, this album is ridiculously remarkable. Like, what it attempts to achieve, what it sets out to do. I can imagine not really being for everybody. I feel like some people might find this pretentious. And I wouldn't necessarily get mad at you if you did say that about the Mars Volta. But I was really blown away by the soundscapes and the really adventurous nature of this album that shoots for some really high quality ideas that I just don't think you'd always be able to pull off. I think the average artist would probably struggle to make this kind of thing work, but yeah, very impressive. So many of the songs just go on for absolutely friggin' ages. I thought this was going to be an album that was going to test me a little bit, but I was pretty taken aback by it, honestly. So yeah, I had to mention this one. Also, for anybody that in the comments seems to don't think I like rock music and that kind of thing, you people, you need to calm yourselves down. You're getting on my nerves. I do like rock music, and I just don't always talk about it on this channel, okay? This is an example of where the Mars Volta are shooting for something so ambitious that I was just really taken aback by it. So yeah, and that is it from me. I'm going to stop there before the darkness consumes this video because it's starting to get a little dark outside. So hopefully you've got some really great recommendations from this one. I really hope you stuck around because there's a lot of variety of different sounds in this video, so many different styles of music, so many different types of artists going for totally different sounds. But honestly, all of these albums are so great in their own way. It's really cool and really impressive that even like after years of listening to music, like we're talking like when I was in college back in like 2011 or something, like I'm still in 2024 going back to the 80s, the 70s, the 90s, the 2000s, whatever decade, and I'm still finding these great albums. It's so exciting. It makes this all worth it because you can get through so many albums that you don't really like, but eventually you find that one, and that one was worth the wait. It was worth the find. It was worth the kind of digging through all the different types of albums. So yeah, all of these just offer so many great different things, and I had to highlight them in this video. So that is it from me. Let me know your best discoveries this year. What was the best album you discovered that didn't come out from 2024? Let me know in the comments. Subscribe for more content like this as well. Have a good day and goodbye.